Welcome to the Ultimate AI-901 Exam Masterclass. I've earned 30 plus certifications, and I'm here to guide you to success on your exam. This PDF in the description is your shortcut. Use these strategies wisely and crack your exam in one go. Revise this PDF 2 to 3 times, and you'll feel the difference in your confidence. Let's jump straight into the most important questions for your success. Question 1. You are using the Azure Speech SDK to develop a Python application that supports real-time spoken conversations. Which Azure Speech class should you use to configure the connection to the Azure Speech service? A. Audio Output Config. B. Speech Synthesizer. C. Audio Config. D. Speech Config. Answer D. Speech Config. Explanation. Speech Config is used to configure the connection to Azure AI speech services by specifying the subscription key and region. It acts as the primary configuration object before creating speech recognizers or synthesizers. Question 2. You need to create an AI agent in Microsoft Foundry that follows a specific role and behavior when responding to users. What should you configure? A. System instructions. B. Temperature. C. Tokens per minute TPM. D. Max completion tokens. Answer A. System instructions. Explanation. System instructions define the agent's personality, role, behavior, and response guidelines. They ensure the agent consistently follows the intended purpose during conversations. Question 3. You are developing a web app that processes invoices to calculate expenses. You need to extract structured fields, including nested values, from the invoices by using a defined schema. What should you use? A. An optical character recognition (OCR) only document processing pipeline. B. A transcription workflow in Azure Speech and Foundry tools. C. An analyzer in Azure Content Understanding and Foundry tools. D. An Azure AI search service. Answer C. An analyzer in Azure Content Understanding and Foundry tools. Explanation. Azure Content Understanding analyzers can extract structured data based on predefined schemas. They support complex fields and nested information beyond simple OCR text extraction. Question 4. What are 2 purposes of instructions when prompting a generative AI model? Each correct answer presents part of the solution. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. A. Defines the agent's role and behavior. B. Selects which model to use. C. Defines the Azure region where inference occurs. D. Defines the tokens per minute (TPM) allocation for the model. E. Defines constraints on the model's responses. Answer A and E. Explanation. Instructions help establish the model's role and expected behavior. They can also impose constraints such as response format, tone, length, or content restrictions. Question 5. You need to build an AI solution that produces new product images based on written descriptions provided by users. Which AI workload should you use? A. Image analysis. B. Image generation. C. Object detection. D. Optical character recognition (OCR). Answer B. Image generation. Explanation. Image generation creates entirely new images from text prompts. It is commonly used for product mock-ups, artwork, and marketing content creation. Question 6. You have a Microsoft Foundry project that has a generative AI model deployment. You need to ensure that responses generated by the model minimize costs and remain within a defined length. Which parameter should you configure? A. Top P. B. Temperature. C. Max completion tokens. D. Model version settings. Answer C. Max completion tokens. Explanation. Max completion tokens limits the number of tokens the model can generate in a response. Reducing token usage helps control costs and ensures predictable response lengths. Question 7. Your company processes customer support emails. You need to implement an AI solution that automatically identifies mentions of people, organizations, and locations in the emails. Which text analysis technique should you use? A. Named entity recognition (NER). B. Key phrase extraction. C. Sentiment analysis. D. Summarization. Answer A. Named entity recognition (NER). Explanation. NER detects and classifies entities such as people, organizations, and places in text. It helps extract important business information from unstructured documents. Question 8. You are using the Azure Speech SDK to develop a Python application that supports real-time spoken conversations. Which Azure Speech class should you use to configure the connection to the Azure Speech service? A. Audio output config. B. Speech synthesizer. C. Audio config. D. Speech config. Answer D. Speech config. Explanation. Speech config stores authentication and regional settings required to connect to Azure Speech services. It is the first configuration object created in most Speech SDK applications. Question 9. You need to create an AI agent in Microsoft Foundry that follows a specific role and behavior when responding to users. What should you configure? A. System instructions. B. Temperature. C. Tokens per minute (TPM). D. Max completion tokens. Answer A. System instructions. Explanation. System instructions tell the AI how it should behave and respond. They provide consistent guidance regardless of user input. Question 10. You are developing an AI-powered customer support application. Which task is an example of the Microsoft Responsible AI principle of inclusiveness? A. Encrypt stored customer data and restrict access by using role-based controls. B. Evaluate model outputs across demographic groups to reduce bias. C. Design the interface to support multiple languages and screen readers. D. Provide explanations about how predictions are generated. Answer C. Design the interface to support multiple languages and screen readers. Explanation. Inclusiveness ensures AI systems are accessible to people with diverse abilities and backgrounds. Supporting screen readers in multiple languages improves accessibility for all users. Question 11. You have a Microsoft Foundry project that contains a generative AI model deployment. You test the model by using the Foundry Playground. You need to develop an application that sends requests to the deployed model. Which information must the application include to call the model? A. The exported Playground session history. B. The model training dataset. C. The Foundry project display name. D. The model endpoint and authentication credentials. Answer D. The model endpoint and authentication credentials. Explanation. Applications access deployed models through an endpoint secured by authentication credentials. Without these details, the application cannot send requests to the model. Question 12. You have a Microsoft Foundry project that contains an agent named Agent 1. You need to ensure that Agent 1 always calls an Azure function when the agent responds to user input. To what should you set tool_choice for Agent 1? A. Required. B. Auto. C. None. Answer A. Required. Explanation. The required setting forces the agent to invoke a tool whenever it generates a response. This guarantees that the Azure function is always called. Question 13. You need to compare the costs of large language models, LLMs, for a generative AI solution. What should you use in the Microsoft Foundry portal? A. Compliance. B. Evaluator catalog. C. Tools. D. Model leaderboard. Answer D. Model leaderboard. Explanation. The model leaderboard provides comparisons of available models, including performance and cost information. It helps organizations choose the most suitable model for their requirements. Question 14. You are developing an application that processes voicemail recordings by using Azure Content Understanding in Foundry tools. Which feature does Azure Content Understanding use to convert audio to text? A. Key phrase extraction. B. Transcription. C. Voice Live. D. Optical character recognition (OCR). Answer B. Transcription. Explanation. Transcription converts spoken language and audio files into written text. This text can then be analyzed for insights and structured information. Question 15. You are developing an application that analyzes voicemail recordings by using Azure Content Understanding in Foundry tools. You need to extract a transcript and structured information from the recordings. Which type of analyzer should you use? A. Document analyzer. B. Video analyzer. C. Audio analyzer. D. Image analyzer. Answer C. Audio analyzer. Explanation. Audio analyzers are designed specifically for processing audio content. They can generate transcripts and extract structured information from recordings. Question 16. Your company has thousands of recorded customer support calls in multiple languages stored as audio files in Azure storage. You need to generate text transcripts of all the recordings. Which Azure Speech and Foundry tools capability should you use? A. Speech-to-text batch transcription. B. Speech-to-text real-time transcription. C. Text-to-speech. D. Speech translation. Answer A. Speech-to-text batch transcription. Explanation. Batch transcription is optimized for processing large numbers of stored audio files. It is more efficient than real-time transcription for bulk workloads. Question 17. You need to build an AI solution that generates marketing email drafts based on a short description of a product and its target audience. Which AI workload should you use? A. Speech recognition. B. Text classification. C. Generative AI. D. Computer vision. Answer C. Generative AI. Explanation. Generative AI creates new content such as emails, articles, and summaries from prompts. It is ideal for producing marketing drafts automatically. Question 18. You have a Microsoft Foundry project that contains a vision-enabled model deployment. You use the Azure OpenAI Responses API to send a prompt to the model. You need to provide an image for analysis. Which content items should you include in the request? A. Image_generation. B. Output_image. C. Input_image. D. Image_base64. Answer C. Input_image. Explanation. The Responses API uses the input_image content type to send images to vision-capable models. The model can then analyze the image and generate a response. Question 19. You have an Azure subscription. You need to use Azure Content Understanding and Foundry tools to extract structured data from invoices. What should you provision? A. A Microsoft Foundry project. B. An Azure OpenAI resource. C. A Microsoft Foundry resource. D. An Azure AI search service. Answer C. A Microsoft Foundry resource. Explanation. Azure Content Understanding is provided through Microsoft Foundry resources. A Foundry resource must be provisioned before creating analyzers and processing content. Question 20. Which Azure Speech and Foundry Tools capability should you use? A. Speech recognition. B. Speech synthesis. C. Speaker recognition. D. Speech translation. Answer B. Speech synthesis. Explanation. Speech synthesis converts text into realistic spoken audio. It is commonly used for IVR systems, virtual assistants, and automated phone notifications. Please revise full PDF 2 to 3 times for 100% success. Check the description for the PDF download link and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for upcoming episodes. Thank you.